What in the heck? What's up guys, Dan here, Coalcracker. So does anybody know what this thing is? It shouldn't be in this rope. This rope is way too small for this. This is like just something I would hang around. I'll never own a rope that's big enough for this. It's called a fid. Now we don't use big wooden fids like this. We generally use small little ones that look like this. So you might be thinking, hey, that's like an awl. That's not a fid. Well, this is an awl. Now, what the heck is the difference between these two things? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today, because one thing that I find myself doing all the time is getting knots, real tight knots, out of line, okay? And normally it's because students pull knots the wrong way, or they tie off a ridge line that we're doing a demo with the wrong way, and next thing you know, you have these knots stuck. And especially with ridge lines, it's a shame to ruin your entire ridge line or cut it shorter because there's a knot in place. But you know, with ridge lines, you need to like do trucker's hitches, and you're sliding prussics up and down them, so knots can really cause havoc. And sometimes they just get so tight, especially a paracord, it's like a nightmare to get those things out. So I'm going to show you today a quick and easy way that I do that. I know, silly almost, that I'm showing you how to take a knot out of a line, but it's more so about the gear and equipment that we use to do that, because maybe it's something you want to add or make to put into your kit, because I always carry one myself. So like I said earlier, right, this is an awl, this is a fid, they look almost identical. So what is the difference? So an awl generally is going to be very pointy. It's going to be very sharp and very pointy. The purpose of the awl is to punch holes in things. So if we use an awl, a sharp metal object, to try to pick out knots, what's generally going to happen is one of two things. Either it's going to just punch through, like I just slid that right through my paracord. Now it could be any kind of rope here, right? But it just slides between it because the point is so sharp, okay? Or the other option is that it's going to catch, and then you're going to get pulleys like this, and then your line's like all destroyed, and then it's a real mess, okay? Whereas a fid, okay, is not as sharp. That's literally the only difference. So you can definitely take, if you have an old awl or a nail or something like that, and turn it into a fid. Just don't sharpen it up that much, because you're gonna have a lot harder time. You actually have to work it through. If say you want to get through the paracord, you can, but you have to work it and separate those fibers very purposefully, versus like I just put this here and push, it's through. With my fid, not so much, okay? So that's why these things come important. These things are very handy, and they could be very important. Now, another thing you might already own that contains a fid is a blanket pin. So this is a blanket pin. You know, if you came to any of our blacksmithing courses or Bushmen, we make fids all the time because they're definitely handy. We also have that same setup here on our blanket pin, so this works really well. It's another option there for you. And then the reason these big ones even are in existence is if you think about like boating, okay, and sailing, big ropes, okay, if you need to splice stuff together. So that's why I had it through this now. With a rope like this, if we're gonna splice it, of course you'd want a bigger rope for this, but you can take your fid and you can just work it through like this, and it separates out your rope. Okay, so pretty cool stuff, a little bit of history there. We got to know this stuff, right? Because we're bushcrafters and survivalists, and it comes from the olden days. So let's get on to our task at hand, and that is removal of these knots. Basically what you're going to do with your fid is you're just going to get into that knot, and you're going to just dig it through there. Again, you're not going to use something sharp because it's going to punch through, where the fid is going to be just enough. Now this is easier to do it on a hard surface, but if you just work your fid in amongst that line, you generally can get it started. Like it's already started. I would have never been, I couldn't do this with my fingers because I tried. Look at that, knot's popped, and you'll see how this was so tight, like the rope's even all kinked and stuff, right? So that was definitely a super tight knot, and this little tool gets the job done. So if you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe down below. You can also check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com for all our classes, our gear, and our blog. And until next video, stay in the woods.